G'day everybody. So we're 2 hours late exactly from what I was hoping to achieve at midday today. We were ready to go a little while ago, but we had a technical glitch because I'm not in the office right now, but we've got something up there and hopefully you're watching this. It's day 163, I think it is, of the race, 2 o'clock in the afternoon here in the Sable d'Olonne, and it's the 15th of February. A few things going on. First of all, just to recap on Guy, you see we've got a post there. He's out of the GGR and he's doing his own thing, has a life raft, he's left, he's underway, and you can follow his personal tracker from that link in the post we put up this morning, and you can like his Facebook page and you'll get updates as he's off around the rest of the world. Right now, the big news is, first of all, Kirsten and Abhilash. Kirsten's getting very close to getting around Cape Horn, which will happen sometime, in the next number of hours. So we'll update you on that as it goes through, and we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail in a sec. And you've probably seen the post about Abhilash. That's the big news for the moment. It's been a developing thing over the last number of hours, and we've been a little bit involved with that, keeping everyone informed. And basically, we had known for some time he's going to be on a lee shore, heading down. So at 4 o'clock this morning, we flashed everything up and sent him the weather forecast, just so he knows what to expect coming along. On his current course and speed, he's going to come quite close, less than 10 miles through some of this, and the weather is going to hold for about another, or from now, it's probably about another 12 to 14 hours, and then it'll start to back off. Then this morning, so we got all that, and then this morning sent us a message and say, oh, the wind pilot's down. He doesn't have any more pendulum blades to refit. He's used up a lot. He had 2 complete wind pilots on board, and over the past number of weeks he's been chopping up the tart table and making all sorts of bits of wood to stick in there as a blade. But I think now he's starting to run out of options to keep manufacturing blades and keep going. So he's sailing under with a lashed tiller at the moment. He hasn't made any statements about what he intends to do. What he's said very clearly, he's considering all options. And by that, it's options to look at how to keep the wind pilot working, as well as what he might do if he can't get the wind pilot working, and certainly trying to look after the situation right now. Generally, the winds are about 30 to 30, gusting 40 in the bigger stuff, and then it drops off and becomes quite manageable. Maximum sea state's just a bit over 5 meters, but most of it will be about 4, a little bit less. And it's all on the beam, so you've got to be careful, because even that sea taking it on the beam can be quite tricky, because it's a breeding ground for knockdowns. So not a good situation to be in there, but certainly not bad either. I mean, he knows what he's doing, and he's aware of what he can and cannot do. So we've upgraded the tracker, and we're watching very closely. We've got good comms with him, and as I say, he hasn't asked for any assistance or anything at all like that. So he's plodding along, and let's just see what happens over the next 24 hours and how he assesses the overall situation. Simon is still sitting up in the anchorage there. You might have heard the sound cloud we did. He's still sitting there, and he's waiting for all this to blow over. He could go out in a southerly and get sea room, come out here and then head down, or he's even suggested he might end up tacking down and picking up anchorages occasionally. He's got some charts, but anyway, we just have to wait and see. But it's sit tight at the moment for Simon. For Kirsten, it's all pretty exciting, because even when we look at what's going on, we'll cut to the quick with Kirsten. We'll talk about what she's up to. She played that move to get further south because she knew this breeze was coming, but as it turns out, when I toggle this through, so that's oh jeepers, crackies, I can't get to the, yes I can, okay. So when I start toggling this through, you'll see this is coming through midnight tonight. It's picking up a little bit from the south, so she's got plenty with that, and then it's actually going back a little bit, got a little bit of westerly in it, so it's a southwesterly. It's going to keep her moving pretty well, but there's no big winds there at all for her. It's pretty much looking as if she's got a good run for the next number of hours. This is coming through. This is 24 hours later, and if we look at the distances that we've got for her to Cape Horn, if she keeps on the current course, she hasn't sort of made a move to try and see it yet, but she's got about 50 miles to go. And at 1200 hours UTC, she was doing 6.8 knots. She'd been flying. So you know, it's going to be like 8 hours from now or so. You know, she might be there. So certainly before midnight tonight, local time in France, she's going to be around the corner, and everyone will be giving a big cheer. And then I'll just cut back and keep toggling the weather through just to see what happens here, because that bit of a blow moves past pretty quick. She actually gets a reasonable ride. Is it moving? It's not catching up quick enough here. Come on. Nope. Yeah. Okay, so the internet now is letting us down a bit. It's not jumping through. Anyway, basically she misses a lot of the heavy stuff, and when it does start to pick up again, I'm not sure why we're not getting any of this here now. I'm just going to put that back there and see what goes. Okay, I'll just try it again. So as I toggle this through, you can watch what happens to Abhilash's weather. It's really solid from the southwest, but it's going to move pretty quickly. He's probably got about 12 hours or so in it now, since early this morning. So keep your fingers crossed. Okay, there's one, there's two, there's three. You can see Kirsten's looking good. She's still in the green, so that's good sailing for her, quite fast. 5, 6, 7, 8. She's got a nice strong southerly there, and that might push her over. It'd be interesting to see if she wants to have a look. She's been there many times, but it's kind of nice to take the photo going past, and she's got to be careful because she's on a lee shore as well, but she's given it a wide berth, and she's getting the weather faxes from Chile, so she probably knows exactly what's happening. But anyway, she's probably going to stay safe as well. So you can see there's no big storms coming for Kirsten, and right through in the next 24 hours or more, this is like a day and a half later, she's around and gone in that green. She'll be in the green going up here, and it's flat water when you get to here. It's quite amazing, the transition once you get around Cape Horn. It's like another world. It usually drops off really calm. She might go to Stretch of La Mer here. There's a lot of currents there. It gets quite tricky, but it saves a bit of distance if you intend to head up between the Falklands and South America here, or whether you go around. But by the look of this weather forecasting, if she still keeps getting the Chile maps, I wouldn't be surprised to see her just go straight up the middle here. It can save a lot of distance, and it looks pretty settled. And you can see also, you would have noticed that Abhilash gets through it pretty quickly, and then he's got a following breeze. Now, if his wind pilot is cactus and can't use it, he's not able to repair it, which is the indication he's giving me, then it gets tricky for trying to steer the boat again downwind, because when you got the wind on the beam or forward of the beam, you can lash the tiller, you can balance the sails pretty easily. As soon as it comes behind, which is going to happen within 24 hours maybe for Abhilash, it gets a bit harder to balance the boat and make it steer itself. And he's still got quite a long way to go. So distance to Cape Horn right there now is about 330 miles. He's currently in the state that he's in now. He's still making 5.6 knots in the current weather. All right, remembering that it's quite windy. So he's still holding his course. Everything looks good. And on the beam, you can do it a lot easier than when it swings. And it's going to start swinging within 24 hours. Yeah, it's gone. So you'll have 12 hours of strong winds again. Then it'll slowly start to swing around to the northwest. And then he's got to work out how to balance the boat and continue. Now, then it brings, so let's just assume he's looking at all options to keep the wind vane working. And we'll see what happens after that. So we'll look forward to further updates from Abhilash on that one. Then coming back to Captain Goog back here, seems to be having a pretty nice time of it. He's currently doing 6.6 knots, which is really good, 123 nautical miles a day. I'll make it a bit smaller so you can see what the weather projection is going to look like for him. There's a bit of a high pressure system just above him, the centre of a high, but he's got good breeze there, and it looks like he might really get a bit lucky here, because this northerly coming down is not going to be extreme. It's certainly going to be Southern Ocean, but it's pretty cool. He's just on the top edge of it. There it's turning into about 30, gusting 40 or something, and then it goes to a westerly, which you'll like. He'll just miss out on that little puff underneath him, which is probably blowing 45 or gusting 45 to even higher, but that's breaking out as well. It's just all falling apart. So, and then the big super one down there, which is a couple of days away, he won't actually be down at that point. He's probably going to be down here somewhere, just because if you ride the rum line down, all of this weather is still below the rum line. So Goog is, I don't know what he's been eating or what he's been doing, but the weather The weather gods are in his favour at the moment. Touch wood. That could change at any time, but we're now going through to the 70th. This is a couple of days ahead now, so the next 3 days look really good. So that's pulling it through to the 18th. So there's a full 3 days ahead, and 3 or 4 days he's got a good run, and he's got wind all the way, and it's going to be sailing breeze. It's not on the nose or anything like that. There's something coming there, but that's pretty cool. So Goog will be happy. Simon's still got these southerlies going on for days, so at some stage he'll start to get really frustrated and he's going to have to decide what he wants to do, but that's sailing. We all know about that. Okay, bring it back to today, real-time weather, and we can look at Jeremy and Ian. Ian's really anxious to keep moving. He still feels he's a little bit far behind, and he may not get around Cape Horn until late March, and he'd like to be earlier, so he's trying to go as fast as he can. He's doing 5 knots. He's done 84 miles in the last day, which is okay, and Jeremy's doing 3.4, and you can see why. There's this high pressure. This is the remnants of the cyclone that went through and bombed New Zealand, Auckland and the North Island, but now it's breaking apart, and it's interacting a little bit with this high pressure system, but I don't think it's going to cause any issues. So if we just start scooting this forward a bit, we can see how that changes. That's a 30 knot northerly for Ian. He's far enough away from the zone to not be too worried about that, because it's not going to last for very long. Jeremy will be happy. He can cruise down on that and keep it all happening. Then it's starting to go good for all of them, turning into a nor'wester, and they'll love that. They'll be able to hold their course, rocket away. So the 17th looks pretty good. They'll be making miles, which is what they both want to do. Again, for the next day, for the 18th, it's pretty good. They've got sailing breezes all the way to keep them moving. They'll be doing 120 mile days and so on. Then this little number's coming up from the south, but it's probably a bit too far ahead to worry about. It's only a small one, and anything could change by then. So that's probably enough to bit of an overview of everything that's going on. Anyway, sorry about the delay this morning. We had a few things happening all at once, and it was the best option. So we've caught up, and we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We'll obviously keep an eye on Kirsten and put a post up when she turns the corner, but it's quite an